What's up, Profit Snipers? It's your boy Jaren. Today we're doing a quick pre-market video. It's Wednesday, August 12th, and I just wanted to update you guys throughout the week and show you how we ended up where we got to. The first thing that we can see throughout the week, we had some form of selling from the top of this range. Right, I'm gonna just start from Tuesday. We can see the bulls were trying to push up in this green buying channel right here, but they lacked their buying continuation in the green and in the orange buying channel. So these are the bulls buying channel. If they are not in those, they will begin to push down to build more liquidity. And this is also when I began to identify us building liquidity with the magenta algorithm. So the magenta algorithm is what the bulls used to grab liquidity off of, right? So I began to see a real microstructure magenta selling channel right here. And like I was telling my chat, the magenta is the beginning of the bulls selling, right? So they left some left shoulder liquidity up here. So if the bulls want to end up grabbing this magenta liquidity, they will grab the magenta liquidity over here, right? And that's why we see the market gapped up a little bit, because what we're doing currently is trying and attempting to grab that left shoulder liquidity. That's our head right there. And we're seeing if we could get a breakout of this magenta to grab this right shoulder, right? The final breakout level will come from this green algorithm up here, making sure that we grab this left shoulder liquidity. So after I identified the former selling in magenta, I wanted to see if the bulls could possibly grab the liquidity outside of the magenta. But at this time, we seen that we were breaking our channels. And this one I was telling my Discord, you know, these are the possible structures that we could see play out, because we see the liquidity building in this magenta algorithm, and if the bulls want to sell further, they had to break their green buying channel and they had to break their orange buying channel, grabbing that right shoulder liquidity on the breakout of the yellow tapering channel. And another play that I sent to was a break of magenta, because magenta support was controlled by the bulls. So we see the magenta support bouncing. The bulls wanted to break out to grab the liquidity off this magenta algorithm. Now the problem was that I was looking at is the bulls were struggling to keep their buying channels activated, right? So once I noticed that is when I started to see a possibility of some downside. But the only way down for us to truly head down was us cracking. We had to break the bottom magenta support. So I was telling them we had to break this magenta support at the bottom, because this is what the bulls are buying from, right? And we can see up here, that's where we identified that, and this is where the tapering channel was. I told us where to take these puts at, right? So from here on out, if you would have caught that trade from there, after you get this breakout right here, we want to identify what type of selling channel we in. We can see that we're in this orange selling channel right here, and we were in this orange selling channel, right? So we know as long as we are in this, right, the bears are dominant while we sell down in this channel. But you can see something happen right here. We got this nice breakout of our orange selling channel, which shows us that the bears have got stopped out and the bulls have now entered, right? So we know the bulls have entered. That's why we see us gapped up in the pre-market. So the first thing that I want to identify is what kind of buying continuation do we have? If our buying continuation is strong, I want to see it push up in the strongest green buying channel, right? So I'll make sure that I have that already put onto my chart for when we open up, right? After that, if we're not buying up in the green, I want to assess our secondary in the orange buying channel, because we see that both of our buying channels are both sufficient enough for us to grab this liquidity off of the green algorithm, which we are doing pre-market, right? So from here on out, which is most likely where we're going to gap up, first thing we want to assess is buying continuation. Are we going to continue pushing up to target this high and ultimately grabbing liquidity to create all-time highs, right? All this liquidity built in the green algorithm, right? So that's the first thing we want to assess. So no shorting until we get at least an identification of a lack of buying continuation. Now I showed you the structure that the bulls had with grabbing that liquidity at this left shoulder up here, right? The equilibrium of that left shoulder is this right shoulder, breakout right here. So we need to get that right shoulder breakout at our pre-market level at 773, right? We might pull back a little bit for 772 and 39, and then push up from there, allowing us to grab more liquidity and pushing the bulls back up, right? So that's something that we can see out for. Another thing I'm also looking out for is I want to assess this last bounce, right? So I know we have liquidity here. This is our liquidity that got left here. So I want to identify this yellow tapering, which will show us when the bulls are starting to lack control in their buying channels, right? So once we begin coming back down to grab the liquidity built in this yellow algorithm, is when we could look at possibly shorting this again. And a lot of people are going to get caught chasing today. A lot of people are going to get caught trying to just force calls or force the market to go down. So I want us to remain patient, right? We know that people may take profits as soon as the market opens up, because who wouldn't take profits if you were gapped up another from, you say you got in right here, you gapped up $2. Some people are going to take profits, some people may hold, but that's a $2 move. So be expecting a little pullback for at least some people to take a little bit of profits. But we will assess the continuation. We will assess the buying continuation throughout the day. See if the bulls are remaining strong in their strongest buying channels. And if not, we're just going to let it taper. And then we'll strike when the bears are ready to dump it. Right? But we can see we got a breakout of our selling channel, which stopped the bears out, allowing the bulls to enter at this support zone, giving this nice gap up. Right? So as long as we remain above this level, remain above our green algorithm, we'll be good. And this is the same thing that I sent up in the Discord right here for the bulls towards end of day, right? The bulls grabbing liquidity off of this green algorithm, off of 774, right? This green algorithm and this magenta algorithm is what I was talking about the bulls may try to do. Right, and we can see it's no coincidence of us grabbing liquidity at 774 right now, which we currently need to continue pushing up to grab this liquidity at 774 on the breakout of the green algorithm. So we will assess and see if we can get there. But I hope that you guys have a safe trading day, and let's lock in, let's make some money, let's be patient, and let's continue to learn, develop, and teach those around us, man. Y'all have a blessed day. And if you're new to the channel, please leave a like, comment if you got something to say, and subscribe. Peace.